Welcome to the MotoSport Gear Lounge, where we rev up your style and gear up your ride. I'm KP, this is BQ, and this is our Goggle Buyer's Guide.
In this video, we're going to go over a range of goggles, from most affordable
to the top of the line. When you guys are on the site and you're shopping through some of these different goggles, you're going to find that a lot of them have different shapes. So you can see this X-Rand as compared to this Fox Main. A little bit different shape, some of that style, design, but you might find that some of these goggles fit your face better than others, and you'll also find that let's say a Fox goggle is going to fit with a Fox helmet really well and maybe better than some of the others. So depending on what style you're going for, colors and that, you might have a better luck with one than the other, but all of these goggles in this category are pretty much the same construction, with the dual foam, the nice lens, and good straps. Yeah.
Along with the goggles, the lenses are also replaceable, and coming with the more affordable goggle comes a more affordable lens. Another thing about these goggles is you can remove the strap if you get them so muddy and you want to wash them in the washing machine.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that all these goggles in this price point category, in this good category, we'll say, come with replaceable lenses. The straps come off, tear off posts, tons of different lens colors available for all these different brands, whether it's X, Oakley, Fox, even the youth Fox ones you can do some cool stuff with. So I think nowadays these price point goggles have gotten to be so good, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're as good as the top of the line were 20 years ago.
All right. I mean, nowadays, I think the most expensive ones that we're going to get into, there are reasons for that. And, you guys will see the difference once we get there. But yeah, for nowadays, these price point goggles, all these ones in this category are a super great value. You can't go wrong. It was important to me as a new dad. I know you're a dad. Dads that ride. I wanted to include some options for the youth goggles that we carry. Super important. I know that all of us, moto dads, bike dads out there, two wheels, handlebars, whatever. We all want our little buddies to ride with us and to share that love and passion with the sport that we care about so much. So it's really, really cool to see such an awesome offering from all these brands out there right now for the youth goggles. I mean, Alpine Stars, 100%, and Fox all have really good models, really good offering. I mean, these Alpine Stars ones, dude, honestly, I'm just so impressed. Look at like the style of like how the foam is molded into the top. This stuff is really, really cool. These are, still gonna be in your price point range, same as those other ones, like the Fox Main, Fox Main Youth, Youth Strata. Those are all gonna be in the same category as that last group of goggles we were talking about, but just that smaller faceplate, but you're still gonna get the awesome, triple layer foam, the good strap, the interchangeable lenses, the tear off posts, everything, but just for your little one. It's super sick.
About that part.
Moving on to the next category in our Goggle Buyer's Guide. It's what we're calling the better category, or the mid category. But honestly, guys, it's really, really hard to have a mid category nowadays, but there's a couple things that put some of these goggles in there, so we'll try and touch on those. But we got some offerings from X brand, their Lucid goggle, very, very, very nice goggle. You're definitely moving up a bit in construction and features from some of the goggles in the last category, and the lenses themselves are actually pre-molded in a way harder material, so it's going to protect a lot more against roost and rocks and just things like that in a moto race environment. So like we were talking about on the last round of goggles, those are going to be great for a rider that is out there by themselves and they're not really in that competitive environment, whereas like moving to this next level, all of these goggles are going to be better in that moto environment where you're racing with your buddies, whether it's an organized practice or you're out there on the weekend, or you're racing a qualifier, or you're doing some more serious off-road riding at speed where you want something that has really, really good eye protection, where things are actually going to bounce off of this thing and it's going to provide an extra level of safety. So all the goggles in this category are going to be right there, have those kind of features.
One way I like to look at it is the goggles that are in the better category now used to be the goggles that were just the best. You couldn't get any better than these goggles. So now it's really cool that they become more affordable, and there's even more technology and a better goggle out there on top of this now. Another thing that's good about these mid-range goggles that are more protective and higher quality is they also come with features like these nose guards here to block for the roost. The lenses are harder and they are more roost resistant like he was saying, but there's also a nose guard to keep your nose safe.
Yeah, big fan of the nose guard on these, better category goggles. They also come with outriggers most of the time. So you guys will notice that, it creates a different feel when the goggle's on your face and wraps around your helmet. And they typically give you a bit wider peripheral vision in this category. That's something that you're definitely going to notice is like a wider face print. And couple of these features, the outrigger helps, work with the tear-offs a lot better. And then like Brett was saying, this removable nose guard is a really nice feature. So depending on what helmet you're wearing, you may or may not need this guard. And sometimes, like for me, when I wear a Bell, they have a nice nose guard already built in. So you almost get double the protection, which is nice. And, keeps those rocks from hitting you in the face and breaking your nose.
But another thing with these outriggers that he was talking about is it also allows the goggles to sit back into the helmet further and touch to your face better to keep dirt from getting in here and getting all the stuff into your eyes. So definitely is a big deal having these outriggers on here.
This is the lens from the Oakley front line that we have in this category, and what you're going to notice is that it's already pre-molded. So it's already the shape of the goggle frame, and the material is much harder. So you're gonna get way better roost protection. And I honestly find that when you step up to this category and you're running these kind of goggles with this type of lens, I feel like the optics are better. These little bit higher end goggles that are pre-molded, you get less distortion, from the light when you're ripping. So.
And you've heard over the years about racers, especially in the pro class, because those guys roost so much harder. The amount that they get on the gas compared to us normal people is insane. But the roost those guys throw off is known to knock goggle lenses out. But that won't happen on these. The goggle lenses that have the posts and they actually clip into them, they're easily knocked out if you get too roosted. But these goggles actually sit on a lip that's on the outside of the frame that will keep it from doing that. Plus, with it being such a hard plastic, these things are not going to be roosted and knocked out like a normal goggle.
With these lenses in this category, as we move up, I know we're in this what we call mid-tier category. It's they're gonna be a little bit more expensive than your price point goggle. It's gonna be more in that $100 range, but you're really getting a much more durable lens than you would in the category below. So not only is it molded different, it does have those different coatings like Brett said, so it's going to be less resistant to it's going to be more resistant to scratches.
Another benefit over the better goggle as opposed to the good goggles is the ease of lens removal and installation. These things are awesome. All you gotta do is flip these two clips right here and the thing just pops right out. You can clean it and do what you need to do. Like I was talking about on here, with it going against this lip of the frame, it's not going to roost in and the lens can't get knocked into where your eyes are at. It may possibly get knocked out, but with these clips holding on out here, it's very, very unlikely. So these better goggles are better.
Better. That's actually a really good point about the lens getting knocked in. I have personally had that happen on some of the more old school goggles back in the day with the softer lens. And so that's what we mean by when we say better. It just really depends on your situation, but we would say better for racing. If you think that there's a higher likelihood that you might catch a rock to the face or something like that, or if you're just out there battling with your buddies, moving up a level to something like the X Brand Lucid is going to definitely give you more protection. Like Brett said, it's not going to allow that lens to get knocked out or pushed in or, you know, anything like that. So firmly planted in that better category, we wanted to touch on our house brand Ryder Co goggles. These are the Recons. Super good value. They come with a lot of those features of the other mid-level goggles. You got your outrigger, you got your nose guard, and these even come with the super nice triple layer foam, moisture wicking, and they also come with an extra lens and some tear-offs. Yeah, honestly, these stack up with the rest of the goggles in the space super well, I think. I mean, I've ridden in them. They have really good optical clarity. The foam works really well, fits your face nice, and I really like, you know, for the price point, it's tough to beat these things. We're talking premium goggles now. We've made it. So top of the line, we went from good, better, and these all being in the best category. So moving forward, I think the main takeaways from all the goggles in this particular category is that the lenses are all going to be the highest quality lens material, molded process that you can get. Everything's going to be super strong. They meet or exceed pretty much all the safety standards out there for protection. So, you know, roosts, rocks, everything. You're definitely going to get the most bang for your buck when it comes to being safe out there. And, you know, they're all going to have the most clear optics available. So they're all very competitive when it comes to that. You know, Oakley, Fox, Leatt, 100%. Alpine Stars is newer to the game, but they're doing a great job. And there's a few unique features to each of these brands that kind of make them stand apart from one another. But for the most part, all very, very comparable, all really, really nice goggles, and you're going to get all the same features in this range.
All the features we've talked about in the goggles up to this point are all included on these top of the line goggles, along with some extras that we don't usually see. This ISP here, I am actually new to this, and the first thing that Kellen said whenever he looked at these goggles, he said, hey, no more Goonie. You can have this goggle band up without even trying. See, it's placed at a 45-degree angle here. The strap does not go straight back. It actually goes up. So if Alpine Stars is trying to tell you something, you know that you don't want to be Goonie and have that goggle band down. It's pointed up, not down. Keep it up. But the first thing I thought of was your breathing and the way that the goggle actually sits on your face. And if there's not as much pressure pulling the goggle down or flat into your face, it actually lets it sit a little bit further or a little bit looser up on your nose. So I would really like to try these and see if they do help your breathing, because I know with people with different shaped noses and different shaped faces in general, I'm kind of speaking out of context here because we're not talking about helmets, but my head is a really funny shaped head. I got a really long head going this way, but it's really skinny and just awkward. But not much fits my face just right, and I got to be really picky about what helmet I wear and what goggles I wear. So I know you guys are all kind of the same way in a different sense. So it's really cool to be able to try different things, and to see that Alpine Star, being new to the game like this, is still willing to go out of the box and try something new like this that really has not been seen before. Another thing I want to talk about on these high-end goggles is the goggle band. On the more affordable, better goggles, they are a little bit more of a stretchy band, and they're stretched out and kind of stay that way a little bit more so than these. These are made out of a little bit better material, and they return to original form a lot better, and they don't tend to get all out of shape, and I don't know, the way that they don't like wrinkle up whenever they get loose, you know?
You know, Oakley makes it super easy to interchange the lens if, you know, you want to run a nice prism one, or depending on if you're, you know, doing more woods riding or you need, you know, a little bit more of a clear, just depends on your environment. But yeah, all these high-end ones are going to make it really, really easy to interchange the lens. Yeah, lots of good goggles in the space in the best category. Very, very nice offering. You know, Leatt's another good one. They have a very, how would you say it? safety standards is very important to a brand like Leatt. You know, they're known for their safety equipment, whether it's like knee braces, neck braces, chest protectors, things like that. And the same thought goes into their goggles. So, you know, a lot of people might skip over Leatt for a goggle, but honestly, highly recommend these ones. They're going to come with, you know, a lot of the same features as, you know, your Oakley or your 100% or even the Fox View. You know, really, really hard lens, nose guard, really, really nice optical clarity, and that, you know, strap that's going to keep tension over time. So very comparable to the other ones.
And let me tell you guys something. Every time I get on the podium, I'm running some of these factory ride goggles. These things are awesome. They are a relatively new goggle that a lot of people don't even know that we carry or that's even made. So whenever you hear goggles, you usually think of names like 100%, Oakley, Scott, that kind of goggles. So it's really cool to know that there's more people coming into the game and that there's a lot more options to choose from.
A lot of these premium goggles will come with a nice pack of tear-offs for you, so luckily you don't have to buy any. All right, that's it for this episode of the MotoSport Gear Lounge.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.